how do you want to start your story, Daniel?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you for
Gosh.
coming. Thank you for coming. So it's always nice to, have people on that want to share their story and share it with everybody, not
Mhm.
just me. So
Yeah.
yeah, thank you.
Well, one of the things as you use those words, story and sharing, and what comes up for me is like voice, using my voice, and that is part of the reason why I'm doing this. Because personally, I recognize how voiceless I've been in my life, and how because I was just following along and mimicking what people look like me in this part of the world or in the world in general are doing, and I realize for me, being born in mainland China and being born in rural mainland China, I recognize I come from a culture that didn't allow the people their own voice. And I just look back on my life and, and all the bullies that I they were Caucasian. And I recognized the effect that had. As I entered into later grades, somehow I automatically knew that other people, like Caucasians, for example, weren't accepting of me.
Yeah.
So there was challenging experiences that traumatized me, that caused me to have certain points of views about myself and life, and to therefore I only navigated it in a certain way. And
Yeah.
that was only what other people that looked like me exampled for me. Bouts of
Yeah.
debilitation.
I can
And she still carried on 2 jobs, supporting herself and me, doing her best, but not knowing how to live so often. I was, at being a sensitive, empathic, highly sensitive person, I totally took on that and that energy, and
Yeah.
we're
Felt
now
that.
understanding what it is to be raised by a single parent who's suicidal, what that causes a
Hmm.
child to become in their navigations of their emotional identity. That's such a key part of it, right?
It
We
is.
are what we take in with all our senses, not just what we eat, but that's a huge part of it too. It is so
Yeah.
important to,
So you did these green smoothies,
yeah.
and what else did you do to like help
I was
like
taking through
overcome that?
going to workshops, reading all these different articles. I started sinking deeper into nutrition and then self-development. I started exploring, my family doctor when I was in my teens gave a book to my mom to give to me, and it was The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Huh.
Addicted to our thoughts, right? Us identifying with our thoughts, not knowing how thought works, how thought is our power as humans to create form, and we're always imagining, using our thoughts to imagine things, and we're always telling ourselves a story. But it's now like so many are like, I was so much in my life telling myself this bleak story, the story of limitation, from needing to
Mhm.
point and judge. So I mean, that's when we point the 3 fingers pointing at ourselves, right?
Yeah.
So when I'm blaming and judging, I'm only hindering my own liberation and freedom. I'm only hindering from my own ability to see that I'm judging myself, and first I can just let go of that judgment. And it's like it works, because for me it works like you do some inner work and then you have outer work you can do some outer work, and the inner work gets a little easier and you have a next layer accessible to you, because I've caused myself so much struggle and suffering by trying to control things that were beyond my control, right? How other people see me, that's an addiction, that's a fear. And everyone has to certain degrees,
Yeah.
and I've experienced that intensely, caring so much about what other people think. That's one of the things about being from mainland China, because that's one of the biggest traumas that
What
I
is that?
incurred through caring so much about what other people think.
That's true. That's
You know,
true. They do.
it's
They
like
do.
yeah, it's like life is just this magical evolutionary process of creativity, of learning to love, of discovery, of exploration.
And it's
Yeah,
exploration.
we are so creative that we can turn it into great suffering, you know but we can also turn it into great learning, great compassion, and great joy.
Yeah.
And for me, it's all about unresolved trauma, because we all get traumatized in our lives, and when it becomes not, it doesn't get resolved, so we create addictions. And I invite people to consider compassion, and consider allowing compassion for themselves and how they view themselves and their life and what's occurred in the past,
Yeah.
right? It's not about digging up ugly events and trying to process it. No, it's about recognizing, yeah, the people that hurt you, was very much in pain, in trauma, in hurt themselves. And they were trying to do their best, but this world just unfortunately hasn't, in the past, haven't been able to support ourselves at learning about our traumas and being able to heal it. And now we have this opportunity to gain compassion for ourselves and the things that have happened to us, And through that space,